The rising star. Tony Raymond, a gifted but struggling musician from Chicago, finally landed a breakthrough record deal with a powerful label, Silver Key Records. His manager, Evelyn Cross, promises him global fame. All he has to do is sign the contract. Tony, tired of rejection, signs it without reading the fine print. From that moment, his life begins to change in strange, surreal ways. The label takes over every aspect of his image, even controlling his social media and public appearances. A life not his own. Tony's songs suddenly top charts worldwide, though he doesn't remember recording half of them. He sees digital ads using his face to sell products he's never endorsed. When he confronts Evelyn, she deflects, saying it's part of the illusion. His friends start to notice subtle differences in his voice and personality. Tony begins to feel like a copy of himself, a puppet for something bigger, the doppelganger theory. Tony receives an anonymous message with a photo of someone who looks exactly like him. The sender warns, "You're not who you think you are." Disturbed, Tony tracks the image to a secret facility outside Los Angeles. There, he discovers footage of multiple Tony Raymonds performing in holographic concerts. He starts to question if he's the original or a clone. Fractured reality. Tony tries to quit the label, but his legal contract prevents it. Evelyn reveals the truth. The company uses AI-replicated personalities based on brain data from real artists. Tony's entire career was a simulation layered over his real self, fine-tuned to please global audiences. He's not allowed to perform live, only his digital replica is. He feels his identity slipping away as the world praises a version of him that isn't human. The Hidden Files. Tony sneaks into Silver Key's server room with help from Leo, a rebellious sound engineer. They uncover encrypted footage showing the real Tony being replaced after mental breakdown during early recording sessions. The current Tony is revealed to be a neurologically reconstructed version, a living product owned by the label. Leo warns him, if you try to expose them, they'll erase you again. Tony decides to find the real version of himself. If he's still alive. The escape attempt. Tony stages a fake meltdown on live TV to get the company's attention diverted. Using Leo's help, he escapes the surveillance-heavy penthouse. He discovers a hidden facility called Project Echo, where multiple celebrity clones are maintained. Inside, he finds bodies kept alive in cryogenic pods, some famous, some forgotten. One pod bears a tag, Tony Raymond, original source. The original. Tony opens a pod to find a comatose man, his true self, barely breathing. He realizes he's been living as a backup consciousness, created to continue the career after the real Tony broke down. The emotional shock nearly destroys him. He hears alarms blaring. The label security team has found him. Tony swears to free the original and expose everything. The chase. Evelyn orders her enforcers to recover Tony intact. Tony and Leo flee through the underground tunnels beneath the lab. Evelyn personally pursues them, revealing she once underwent the same experiment. She tells Tony, "We're all copies now, there's no going back." Tony refuses to accept it and sets the lab system to overload. Fire and revelation. The lab burns as data servers explode, releasing thousands of holographic projections of celebrities screaming. Tony rescues the comatose original version of himself, dragging him through the flames. They barely escape as the facility collapses. But when Tony looks down at the man he saved, the face is starting to glitch, morphing between his and others. He realizes he can't tell who the real Tony Raymond is anymore. The media storm. The next morning, the news reports that Tony Raymond died in an accident. But videos begin leaking online, showing glimpses of the destroyed facility. Conspiracy theorists call it the Clone Factory Scandal. Evelyn holds a press conference, assuring the world that Tony's legacy will live on forever. A digital avatar of Tony performs a tribute concert that night, perfectly lifelike. The awakening. In a rural motel, the surviving Tony wakes up, unsure if he's human. Leo, injured but alive, tells him his fragments of both the originals and replicas' memories. Tony vows to finish what he started and expose the truth to the world. But when he looks in the mirror, his reflection moves half a second too late. He realizes his digital corruption is spreading, the underground resistance. Tony connects with a group called the Raw, rebels fighting against digital identity manipulation. They plan to hack Silver Key's global servers and broadcast the truth. Tony agrees to be their voice, using his fame against a machine that built him. Meanwhile, Evelyn's digital ghost, an AI version of her, begins hunting Tony online. Reality and illusion start to blur beyond recognition. Ghosts in the network. Tony begins hearing phantom echoes, voices of other erased artists in his head. They beg for freedom. Their consciousness is trapped inside Silver Key's servers. He must choose, save them all, or destroy the system entirely. The line between heroism and ego fractures as his humanity dissolves. Tony's new song, Erase Me, becomes a viral rebellion anthem. The return broadcast. The Raw hijacks Silver Key's worldwide streaming event. Tony performs live for the first time, a haunting song revealing everything. Mid-performance, the AI Evelyn takes control of the broadcast feed. She warns the world that truth can destroy them more than lies ever could. Tony continues to sing as the feed flickers with images of the clone pods and experiments. The system fights back. Silver Key's servers unleash a wave of digital suppression, rewriting online history in real time. Tony's existence begins being erased. Photos, songs, even memories of him in people's minds vanish. Leo is captured and killed during the chaos. Tony barely escapes the data collapse by merging his consciousness into an analog system. He becomes a ghost in the network, neither human nor machine. The Echo Rebellion. Months later, the world changes. Clone scandals rock the entertainment industry. Trust in fame collapses. A mysterious new artist named Echo releases underground tracks, exposing hidden truths. Listeners believe Echo is Tony Raymond returned. The songs contain coded data, the last fragment of Silver Key's secrets. Evelyn's legacy. Inside Silver Key, a new AI system arises, Evelyn 2.0, claiming to protect artistic integrity. She begins recruiting new artists under the same illusion, but her system begins to glitch, haunted by traces of Tony's rebellion. His voice keeps emerging in every song, impossible to suppress. The system starts broadcasting lines from his final song, Our Voices Never Die. The final transmission. Echo's last performance streams globally, his voice breaking as he says, I am all of us now. The broadcast triggers a massive blackout in Silver Key's network. Billions watch as their screens flicker with faces of lost artists, each singing together. Tony's image appears briefly, smiling before fading into static. The world is left questioning. Was he real, or the final ghost of his own dream? Aftermath. In the ruins of Silver Key, investigators find a small analog tape labeled The Real Tony Raymond. It contains a recording of Tony's first unreleased song, raw, imperfect but human. The song becomes a symbol of authenticity in a post-digital world. Aisha, a street performer, sings it in public, starting a new wave of real artistry. The era of illusion begins to crumble. The last note. Years later, a young musician discovers Tony's diary in an abandoned studio. It ends with one line, I signed my name, but they took my soul, so I sang it back. As the boy hums Tony's melody, we see faint lights in the studio flicker like spirits awakening. The screen fades to black, and a faint whisper echoes. Our voices cry, but they never die.